Chapter 13 is perhaps the most controversial part of Final Fantasy XV. It's where a lot of the negativity from fans has been aimed, as it represented a big departure from the rest of the game in almost every way. Not only was the gameplay changed, along with the overall aesthetic and feel, story elements were introduced that left people rather confused as to why things were happening and how they came about. Many people felt that it served as a perfect example of the game's difficult development, that it must just have slipped through the net somehow due to everything else that was going on. But it was all quite deliberate, according to Hajime Tabata, who has been speaking to US Gamer about the upcoming changes to the game. When responding to queries that Chapter 13 represents an unfinished version of what this section could have been, Tabata simply stated that the direction of Chapter 13's content was a deliberate decision made by the development team. However, he goes on to note that the amount of stress inflicted on the player while running through this chapter was greater than we had anticipated. This has led them to considering big changes to Chapter 13 to ensure the experience is an enjoyable one for everyone who replays the game or picks it up in the future. With the changes, which US Gamer described as being the top to bottom overhaul of the entire chapter, Tabata said that their main objective is to relieve any unintentional stress to the player and add elements that will expand the breadth of the gameplay. Regarding story changes to Chapter 13, Tabata explained that the main plot will not be amended. Instead, he notes that the story will simply be made easier to comprehend, as they will look to strengthen the connection of events surrounding this chapter. No other details have been given on how they actually plan to do this, and Tabata has refused to give any further comment on changes to Chapter 13, asking fans to wait a little longer until they are in a position to announce more details regarding the updates. What's interesting though is that Tabata revealed that updates to the game were already planned even prior to launch. It's just that what they were going to work on wasn't necessarily set in stone. They feel that the approach they're taking with updating Final Fantasy XV by continuing to update the single-player experience with both free and paid updates will create a new trend within the industry. Tabata noted that he appreciates that fans may feel uneasy about this unfamiliar initiative, but he hopes that it will allow players to enjoy the game for an extended period of time. I personally think it's a very bold approach. However, as it is an unorthodox approach, I'd therefore rather wait to judge once we know more, as opposed to spewing out my approval or disapproval. The only thing that's bugging me at the moment is just that we don't really know what they're actually doing, what it means to the game, and when it's going to happen. I mean, they have noted that they see the free updates and DLC as two completely different things, that the free updates will enhance the main game, while the DLC will provide new ways for people to enjoy it. However, at this point, we have limited details on the actual contents or plans and when they will appear. Perhaps after the Moogle Chocobo Carnival event is underway, we will start to learn more about what's next for the game. I mean, I can't imagine it will be too much longer before the first part of the Season Pass is released. Final Fantasy XIII too, for example, had its first piece of scenario DLC launch a few months after the main game was released. Anyway, elsewhere in the interview, US Gamer asked Tabata another pertinent question. Who is his #best boy? I mean, we know from the poll on the official account that Noctis is the favorite amongst fans. Unfortunately, Tabata felt it was too difficult a question to answer. He noted that each character is charming and likable in their own way, and because of this, he is unable to select his best boy. A fair point perhaps, but we all know that Ignis is #best boy. How do you guys feel about Chapter 13 getting a complete overhaul? Are you pleased about what's being proposed so far, or were you actually happy with what's currently present in the game? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to see this channel continue to grow, please consider checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/ffunion. These awesome folks have already done so and have access to some pretty cool perks. Alright guys, this is Lauren signing out. See you next time.